Let me take you to a quiet morning in a small kitchen, where a woman named Helen, 68 years old, wrapped her hands around a warm cup of tea. The sun was just peeking through the window, casting a golden light across the floor. She took a deep breath, feeling the peace of the moment. But then, as she walked past the hallway mirror, something pulled her back. She paused, and for a moment, she just looked. "When did I start looking this tired?" she whispered to herself. The woman in the reflection had kind eyes and a gentle face, but something felt off. It wasn't about wrinkles or gray hair. Helen loved every line she'd earned. It was deeper. Her skin looked dull. Her cheeks had lost their glow. And somehow, the light she still felt burning inside didn't seem to show on the outside anymore. This wasn't about vanity. It was about identity. Because inside, Helen still felt full of life. She laughed loudly, remembered her favorite 80s songs, and danced barefoot in the kitchen when no one was watching. But the mirror? It wasn't reflecting that woman back. And maybe you felt that too. That disconnect between how vibrant you still feel and what you see in your reflection. It can make you question things. Make you reach for another cream, another serum, another promise on a bottle. But what if the real reason that reflection looks tired isn't because of what you're missing on the outside, but because of what your body might be quietly lacking on the inside? Today, we're going to explore a truth that most beauty commercials won't tell you. That the glow you're missing? It isn't gone. It's just been waiting for the right kind of care. And in just a moment, we'll begin uncovering what your skin, your hair, and your body have been gently trying to tell you all along. Because this next chapter isn't about chasing youth. It's about owning your beauty from the inside out. Let me tell you about a woman named Carol. Carol is 69. She's the kind of woman whose energy fills a room. Curious eyes, quick wit, and the kind of laughter that makes people lean in. But for a long time, she couldn't help noticing something that didn't feel quite right. Each morning, she'd go through her routine, brush teeth, wash face, smooth on the same moisturizer she'd used for years. But when she looked in the mirror, the skin staring back at her didn't seem to belong. It looked thinner, tired. Her cheeks weren't as full. Her skin wasn't as vibrant. And no matter how much cream she applied, it still felt dry by afternoon. She didn't feel old, but somehow her skin did. What Carol didn't realize at the time was that her body was trying to tell her something. Not about age, but about change. You see, after 60, our skin begins to speak in quieter, subtler ways. The firmness we used to take for granted starts to fade because our collagen and elastin, those structural proteins that keep our skin plump and resilient, begin to break down. Think of them as the scaffolding beneath your skin. When they weaken, your skin loses its lift, and fine lines start to deepen. At the same time, our skin becomes thinner and struggles to hold on to moisture. That dewy glow we once had, it doesn't disappear overnight. It fades gradually, replaced by dryness, rough patches, and a dull tone. Why? Because estrogen levels decline, circulation slows, and oxygen and nutrients don't reach skin cells as effectively. But here's the real lesson. Your skin isn't failing you. It's calling for support. When Carol learned this from a friend who was a retired esthetician, something shifted. She stopped blaming herself. She stopped chasing miracle creams. And instead, she started nourishing her skin from within with hydration, smarter nutrition, and targeted supplements. And slowly that glow, it began to return. Not because she was trying to look 30 again, but because her skin was finally being heard. So if your skin feels dry, your glow feels distant, or your reflection feels unfamiliar, it's not just getting older. It's your body whispering, "Help me from the inside." And that's exactly what we'll explore next. How 3 overlooked but powerful vitamins can change the story your skin tells from tired to radiant. Stay with me. You'll want to hear this. Let's talk about Susan. She's 67, vibrant, smart, the kind of woman who still walks the neighborhood each morning and FaceTimes her grandkids every Sunday. But a while back, Susan began feeling off. Not in her energy, not in her spirit, but in the mirror. Her skin looked pale. Her hair felt thinner. And her nails, which once grew strong and neat, now chipped too easily. She hadn't changed her skincare routine. She hadn't stopped caring. But something wasn't clicking. Then one day, over coffee, an old friend, who happened to be a retired nutritionist, told her something that changed everything. "You're doing all the right things on the outside, Susan, but the real work, it has to start from the inside." That conversation was the beginning of what Susan now calls her Inner Glow formula, a simple, daily dose of 3 vitamins that most women over 60 either don't know they need or don't realize they're missing. So what are they? Vitamin K2. This one isn't talked about much, but it's quietly powerful. K2 helps guide calcium to the right places in the body, like your bones, and away from the wrong places, like your skin and arteries. When calcium settles into the skin, it makes it stiff, dry, and older looking. K2 helps restore elasticity and circulation, giving your skin a chance to look smoother, fresher, and more alive. Astaxanthin. It sounds like a superhero, and in many ways it is. One of the most potent antioxidants on the planet. Astaxanthin protects your skin from oxidative stress, the kind that leads to fine lines, age spots, and that dull, tired look. Studies show it can reduce wrinkles and improve skin hydration in as little as 8 weeks. Think of it as your skin's internal sunscreen and glow booster, all in one. Brighten vitamin B7. You may have heard of this one, but here's what many women don't realize. As we age, our body absorbs less of it from food, and biotin is essential for healthy hair, strong nails, and skin cell renewal. It supports keratin production, the protein your body needs to keep your outer layers strong, smooth, and resilient. Susan started taking these 3 every morning, just a few capsules with her tea. Nothing dramatic, but about 6 weeks in, something beautiful happened. Her neighbor asked if she'd change her makeup. Her walking buddy said, "You're glowing today." And Susan, she just smiled, because she hadn't changed what she was putting on her face. She'd simply started giving her body what it was quietly asking for. And here's the truth. You don't need a dozen creams to glow. You just need the right tools. Tools your body already knows how to use. Now, let's take it one step further. Because these vitamins, they don't work in isolation. Next, I'll show you 6 simple habits that help these nutrients actually work, so your body can absorb them, use them, and turn them into visible results. Let's keep going. Now that you know the 3 secret vitamins, K2, astaxanthin, and biotin, you might be wondering, how do I make sure they actually work for me? Because here's the thing most people don't realize. Vitamins are like seeds. You can plant them, but if the soil isn't nourished, if the conditions aren't right, nothing blooms. That's exactly what happened to Margaret, a 70-year-old former librarian from Michigan. She started taking a multivitamin with all the right ingredients. But after months, she felt no different. No glow, no boost, no change. Until she changed how she lived, not just what she took. Let's walk through the 6 habits that made all the difference for Margaret and can do the same for you. 1. Hydrate generously. Water is more than just a drink. It's the delivery system for every nutrient in your body. Without it, your vitamins can't travel to where they're needed. Margaret began carrying a reusable water bottle, aiming for at least 6 to 8 cups a day. She even flavored it with lemon or mint to make it enjoyable. Within weeks, her skin started to feel less papery and more alive. 2. Get your sunlight gently. 10 to 15 minutes of morning light can help regulate your sleep cycle, lift your mood, and improve how your body processes vitamin D, which supports everything from skin repair to hormonal balance. Margaret began stepping outside with her morning coffee. No sunglasses, just soft light and birdsong. It became her sacred ritual. 3. Eat the rainbow. Vitamins love companions, what scientists call cofactors. These are found in real, colorful foods. Leafy greens, berries, salmon, avocados. The more variety, the better your absorption. Margaret swapped her cereal for oatmeal topped with blueberries and chia seeds. Small changes, big returns. 4. Sleep deeply. Nighttime isn't just rest, it's renewal. Your skin repairs, your brain resets, and your body uses the nutrients you gave it all day. Margaret stopped watching TV in bed and created a calming wind-down routine with a warm shower, lavender lotion, and a chapter from her favorite book. Her sleep improved, and so did her skin. 5. manage stress gently. Cortisol, the stress hormone, breaks down collagen and depletes nutrients. Even 5 minutes of quiet breathing, stretching, or simply sipping tea without scrolling your phone can help. Margaret began journaling 1 line a day. What gave me joy today? That simple habit became her daily grounding. 6. Be kind to your skin, inside and out. A good moisturizer, a vitamin C serum, a gentle cleanse. But more than that, a kind inner voice. Margaret began looking at herself in the mirror, not to criticize, but to notice, and to say softly, "You're still here. You're still beautiful." And guess what? When she paired these habits with her vitamins, everything started to change. Not just how she looked, but how she felt. She didn't just see healthier skin in the mirror. She saw a woman glowing with confidence, energy, and quiet joy. And that brings us to the next part of our journey. What happens when all of this starts working together? Because when your body feels supported and nourished, something remarkable happens. Not just on your face, but in your spirit. Let's explore that next. Let's take a moment and step into the lives of 3 remarkable women. Not celebrities, not influencers, just everyday women like you and me, who quietly chose to care for themselves from the inside out and saw their lives transform in the most beautiful way. First, meet Teresa. She's 72, lives in a small town in Oregon, and used to describe her skin as dull and defeated. She tried dozens of anti-aging creams, some over $100 a jar, but nothing seemed to last. Then, after watching a friend's transformation, she made a change. She added vitamin K2 and astaxanthin to her routine, committed to drinking more water, and took a short morning walk each day. "I didn't expect anything dramatic," she said. "But one day, my daughter looked at me and said, 'Mom, your skin looks happy.'" That was the word she used. Happy. Then there's Gloria. At 66, she was feeling more fragile than she looked. Her nails were splitting, her hair was thinning, and her confidence quietly faded. She discovered biotin, not just a buzzword, but the science behind how it supports keratin, hair strength, and cell renewal. In 90 days, her nails were stronger, her hair had that old bounce back, and, perhaps most importantly, her mirror smile returned. And finally, Lillian. At 75, she'd all but given up on skincare. "It's too late for me," she once said. But a neighbor gave her a care package that included a daily vitamin blend, a handwritten hydration tracker, and a jar of simple vitamin C serum. At first, I thought it was sweet. Then I realized it was hope in a basket. She began using it every day. Nothing fancy, just consistency, care, and time. 6 months later, her church friends thought she'd been on vacation. "No," she smiled. "I just started taking care of myself like someone I love." What do these women teach us? That radiance isn't about reversing the clock. It's about honoring the woman you've become, hydrating her, nourishing her, supporting her from the inside out. It's about making space for care, even in a busy life, even after decades of putting others first. Because when you support your body with the right nutrients, with small daily kindnesses, something powerful happens. Your face changes, but so does your energy, your posture, your presence. People see it, and more importantly, you feel it. And that brings us to the final part of our journey. The message I hope you carry with you long after this video ends. A message about aging, beauty, and becoming even more you with every passing year. Let's bring it all together. There's a moment, quiet and powerful, that happens for many women after 60. It's not marked by candles or cards, but by a simple internal shift. You catch a glimpse of yourself in the mirror, and for the first time in a long time, instead of focusing on what's changed, you feel something else, peace. Not because the lines are gone, not because your skin is suddenly flawless, but because you finally see the whole picture. The strength behind your eyes, the life behind your smile, the beauty that never needed permission. This, right here, is what it means to own your beauty, not as the world defines it, but as you feel it. At 63, Karen decided to do something she'd always put off. Take a solo beach trip, not to escape, but to celebrate. For the first time in decades, she packed a suitcase with clothes she actually liked, not just ones that covered. She wore a sun hat, walked barefoot in the sand, and took a picture with no filter. I looked at it later, she told us, and I didn't see an old woman. I saw someone who had finally come home to herself. It's not always a beach. Sometimes it's a haircut you've been scared to try, a bold lipstick, joining a painting class, or simply saying no to things that drain you and yes to what lights you up. Confidence at this age isn't loud. It's not about proving anything. It's about knowing who you are and showing up anyway. So let this be your permission slip. You don't have to shrink. You don't have to fade. You don't have to act your age, if that means denying your joy. Because now, after a lifetime of taking care of others, it's your turn to glow, to feel strong, to be seen, not in spite of your age, but because of everything it's made you. And as we wrap up this journey, there's one more message I want to leave with you. One final note from my heart to yours. Let's step into it together in the last few moments of this video. If there's one truth I hope you take with you today, it's this. Beauty doesn't end, it evolves. After 60, it's not about chasing youth. It's about embracing the wisdom in your eyes, the strength in your story, and the glow that begins from within. Personally, I believe the most radiant women I've ever met weren't defined by their smooth skin or perfect hair, but by how they carried themselves, how they smiled, how they showed up for themselves. What Susan, Karen, and so many others remind us is that when we nourish our bodies, care for our spirits, and let go of outdated beliefs, we don't just look better, we feel better. That's the real glow up. So here's my question for you. What's one thing you'll do this week to honor your beauty, your energy, your joy? Share it in the comments below. I'd love to cheer you on. And if this video inspired you, please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another moment of encouragement. Because aging isn't about fading. It's about stepping fully into your light. And friend, that light is still shining strong.